What is up, guys? It's Devin here, joined by Coach,
What's going on?
and we're here on the Bridging the Gap podcast. You already know what it is, and today we're talking about pods. Tide Pods. And why people are eating them. Why are people eating them, Coach? Do you have any idea why?
I don't know. Stupidity. Facebook likes, Instagram fame. I don't know. Challenges. I don't understand the whole challenge thing. Some things I do if it's for the good, but the stupidity people do.
Right, yeah, like the water bucket challenge, right? You have the ice water bucket, the ALS, which was like
raising money. Yeah, I understand those ones, but
Right.
what is this doing?
Right, like what is the Tide Pod challenge doing? Because it's literally dangerous. Like people were like eating detergent packets. I watched one video of the kid eating one, and you know what I mean, like
I haven't seen one. What happens?
Okay, so
what's
like
the reaction?
there's either two reactions. Either you're a wimp. I shouldn't say that because I don't want to.
I don't know.
Incite,
I mean, if
I don't want to incite
I don't
you to be a
consider
tough
myself a wimp, but I know if I eat one of those, something bad's gonna happen to me.
guy. Right. Well, they put it in their mouth, and either one of two things happens. Either like they open it up and like the pellets and everything come in their mouth, kind of like the cinnamon challenge. They just start coughing it up. You know what I mean? And something bad like that happens, or like they just break open the pod part, like the soap, and they just go, and they just spit out the soap or whatever the detergent in it in the pod. You know
So
what
they're
I mean?
not actually eating it; they're just opening it in their mouth.
I have no
spitting it
idea.
out.
From every video I've watched, they usually spit it out. But I haven't. But there could be a video where some guy had the balls, or
to
maybe
swallow it.
or the stupidity enough, to, go and just go whoop and swallow like a whole pill, which is just insane to me.
Right.
You know.
So it's just like another stupid thing that people are doing. I'm sure there's people in the hospital getting their stomach pumped,
Oh, I guarantee that someone's been in the hospital at least.
charcoaled up or whatever they do. Isn't that what they use? Like charcoal if you're
Like,
poisoned or something?
like clean out your stomach and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like I said, actually, we had a cat where it ate rat poison. I had to do that. I had to like give it charcoal water and squirt it in its mouth, and after time, it actually went away and it lived, which is crazy.
If I mean I don't. It's pure stupidity to me.
Right. Agreed. No.
Most of the challenges are pure stupidity to me.
Right. Like there was the cinnamon challenge, which was like why can't people be like that? No, I'm just kidding. The cinnamon challenge is pretty crazy too if you think about it, because like you swallow a whole thing of cinnamon and it like cinnamon just sticks to the side of like your everything and you just cough it up.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what I mean? Like there's no
Doesn't
point.
make sense. And then you got there's more challenge. I think I called it. I seen one the other day. It was a break-in challenge or something, where they have somebody walking around their house, and they have all their family members, kids included, which I mean, it's just a little reckless to me. Where the guy has a gun. Now he's walking up on every family member, and then they pull out a gun on him. It's for
What?
yeah, for whatever reason it is like you're gonna have to look at it and see it.
Someone in Southern Alabama got shot. I'm just letting you know right now.
That's what my goal thing is gonna be like. Is somebody's gonna make a mistake? The point of it is saying like if you break into our house, everybody in our house knows how to use a gun.
Right.
And there's a gun. You know what I mean? Which I don't have no problem with that because every kid should know how to use a gun. You teach your kids how to grow up to use guns because that's their right, and two, to defend themselves when they're living. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Once they get older, they know how to use them properly, less accidents. But what I'm saying is one time there's going to be that person that didn't unload all the guns.
Right.
One was in the chamber, and then all of a sudden somebody gets shot.
Right. Exactly. You know, it's
So,
not worth it.
like I said, man, everything. First of all, we got to give our disclaimer. I don't claim to know everything. Don't believe everything that we're saying. Research yourself.
Yeah.
Any
agreed.
questions? Anything that we're saying wrong? Comment, share.
Tell us what we know. Inform us. Help us learn more.
Tell us your opinion. We want to know because this is two people's opinion, different opinions. You know what I mean? Different ways of looking at things, and we're just trying to understand some of the things that are going on out there. So definitely research yourself, though. Don't go off what we say. And if we're wrong, comment down there and let us know about it.
All right. But anyway, so we're going to go back to these Tide Pods now, right? So, like I said, because like I am a big fan of the meme culture. Real quick, I just want to ask you, do you know the way?
Don't even try to get me on
Do
something.
you know the way?
I don't know nothing about that. But don't try to get me. I don't even know
the
what
way?
it means, but I know it's something that's going to get me, like, joke on me.
No, it's not a joke on you. Like,
What is it?
The meme is like, it's like this, there's like this online chat room thing where like people like could be like characters, like they become characters and like they talk. Or like there was like a bunch of these guys dressed up as like this like little red Sonic the Hedgehog looking thing, right? And they're all like, do you know the way? And they're like looking for like all these like anime like avatar chicks, and like they're like clap for the queen, and then instead of clapping, they would do this. They go. And it was like over this game or something that's online. It's like this online chat room thing, and it was so funny though. Like I have to show you the video. You're gonna have to see it. But with that, like that's like the meme right now. It's like the meme of the month. But this Tide Pod thing, like I said, like you're right, with like catching on. Like they're making memes of it. Like that's what I said. Like that's how I found it, because they're not because I like looked on Facebook, because they're making memes of it. Where like there's like this one SpongeBob meme where like the one fish dude's like eating marshmallows, right? And instead of marshmallows, they put the Tide Pods there, and he's like eating them off a stick. And then SpongeBob comes up and goes, "Hey, can I have some of these?" And the fish guy's like, "Mm-hmm." Like as he's chewing on a Tide Pod, and SpongeBob takes 2 of the Tide Pods, and then he loads up another Tide Pod on a stick, like he's roasting over the fire. And he puts it in his mouth and eats it.
The things you guys do. Do you find that humorous, or do you? What do you see that's entertaining about that?
Okay, what's entertaining is when they're making fun of the stupidity of people that are doing it.
Okay.
But it's not entertaining that people are actually doing it. Like if I see you actually doing it, like it's funny. It's funny because like how stupid you are. But there's nothing funny about the act of doing it though. Like you know what I mean? Like to me, the idea that someone is dumb enough to go, you know what I want to do? I want to chew a Tide Pod in my mouth for like, you know, just publicity or just to be, you know, seen on Facebook or something like that. That thought process, that's what's funny to me. But what's not funny is that people are actually doing it, right? Because what's funny is the idea that people are that stupid. But the not so funny thing is there's people that are actually that stupid or that deprived of some kind of attention that they feel like, you know what I need to do? Chew up a Tide Pod, show myself chewing it up on, you know, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and you know what I mean, and they get all these likes and comments. And everything else.
It's the Tide Pod itself is not that's just the symptom of a problem. The problem is that people are doing the dumbest things for likes. Like they'll do anything.
Right. Well, I'm saying
if somebody that has that clout on the internet, that's how dangerous the internet is, has the clout and has the people listening, they could say anything challenge and they'll do it.
Right. And that's what I was saying.
And that's the danger of it.
Right. And that's what I was sitting here thinking about. Like, you know, people get on and you said about that clout, that level of like, you know, like poppiness on the internet.
Right.
And you know they're especially if people get that level of popularity, they fear if like that's gonna fade away. I mean, like I said, like
so they push the envelope. They
right.
keep doing dumber and dumber stuff.
Or like you know what I mean, they just kind of kind of like that. Like I said, Logan Paul is like a YouTuber, like very notorious for that kind of stuff. Like they're making memes of him now because he went to Japan and he just was like. He was making fun of like just disrespectful things. Like he was going around like he bought a Game Boy from one of the stores and then smashed it off the ground. They took it back to the Japanese clerk and said, "Hey, like this is moi brokido," or something like that. Like he was trying to make it sound like he was like speaking Japanese, like to be a douchebag. And then he goes in like that suicide forest that they have there.
Yeah, I seen some of this. I don't know what happened, but he got in trouble.
He was laughing and making fun of the fact that people were dying in the suicide forest. You know. And like I said, that's what I'm saying too. Is like recently, like what's.
But I also read though, not to cut you off, but I also read that after that, even though he got, you know, a little smack on a ass from YouTube, it
right.
put him in jail for a little bit, YouTube jail for a little bit. He his.
Everything went up, yeah.
Everything went up
because people wanted to go view the video and watch it, and that's why I was saying about like offensive things. And stupid things are getting more views on the internet.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's happening is because, you know what I mean? Like, we're in this, like, I don't know what it is. Like, we're in this era of, like, when we're offended, we want to go and watch it. Like, look how stupid this is. Look how, like you know what I mean? And no one just goes, like, you know, there's, like, a philosophy that people say, like, ignore the problem and it goes away. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, you can't use that philosophy because, like, that's usually not how it works. But in this particular instance for, like, social media, for crazes, it's almost like that where you almost have to like ignore it and it goes away because the problem is like if people do this disrespectful stuff, that's why like I said like I was talking about how like art is like you know in a regression with like rap and everything else. It's kind of the same way with like the content that's on YouTube now, because there was a renaissance of like good content where people were watching it, and now we got like all this garbage where people are just trying to offend each other or be douchebags. And the reason why they're doing that's because like it gets the views now.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're offended or like something triggers somebody.
And also it's easier, like, say for instance, like, we'll use like comedians.
Right.
Comedians say some foul stuff.
Right.
But where the place that they're coming from is looking at everything, but that's just what they do. Like, but if you're in a crowd at a show at a comedian, you know, you're not gonna say what you really want to say. But if I say something, if I put our video right here, when, you know, of course we're going to get all kinds of crazy bad comments, they're going to say it because they can behind a keyboard.
Right. Exactly.
They're not going to say it if they're sitting right here.
Right.
You know
Of course.
Right.
No,
so that's what makes the internet so easy for people to clash.
Right, exactly, right. And, you know, like I said, like, no one can really sit down and have that civilized discussion. But now we'll circle back down to the Tide Pod discussion. So, do you think they go around and they, like I said, they have to maintain, like, these people that, like, are these social media popularities or, all right, sorry about that. So, you have people now, like I said, that they're trying to maintain this level of popularity, right? And then they see this, like, this challenge where, like, hey, I could eat a Tide Pod or something, right? And, like, you know, it starts, and usually these things start from, like, the mid-tier, like no, usually the upper echelon, like, you know, YouTubers, Instagram, Facebook, you know, popularities. They don't start these trends. Usually it's, like, the mid-tier, like, up-and-coming, like, hey, I need to get to the top, so what am I going to do? Hey, I'm going to do this, it's just stupid.
Well, it's actually, yeah, mid to lower. You got lower people that are doing it, but the people that have the upper,
what they do is they
followers,
sit there,
they pick it out and say,
make fun of it.
We're gonna make this guy famous too.
Right. Yeah.
And they're knowing what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're knowing what they're doing, and it goes to the fact of easily like let's say for instance like just like that what that is, but we'll even make it more so people make more sense of it. You take music. Like, if I'm a music artist and I have a bag, I can go to somebody that has the following and say, here's this bag meaning money for those who don't know, here's some money, play my video.
Right, exactly. You could do that.
And now all of a sudden, the video could be trash. The rapper could be trash. Garbage. But it's going to spread like wildfire.
Right. They do that with like hood clips on Instagram. Like the hood clips page. Sometimes they'll play like videos of like rappers, like just have a video up, and the rapper probably paid him like, hey, you got a following here, like go ahead, play my song.
That's how it is.
Right. Exactly. But now I sit here and as I sit here and I think about all that stuff, right? You know, like how far people willing to go, like almost to death, you know, to get this stuff, you know, because of that. Like I said, because like I'm not aware if I've actually done the research. Like someone could hook me up with that information quick as possible about the Tide Pods. Let me know if anybody's been to the hospital or died from it. You know, so we'll probably be uploading this in like the backlash of all that.
Yeah,
so,
I definitely know you would be poisoned in some manner,
especially if you ate it.
Yeah, if you swallow that, I mean, look at it. It's just, you know what I mean. It cleans your clothes. So it has to have some kind of effect to it. You know what I mean? Where you like, if you don't automatically get it out of your system, you would have to be like in the hospital.
No, totally agree. Like you'd have to.
I don't know as far as death. Like, is it possible? Maybe. Yeah,
definitely is possible. I'm just saying that I haven't known if like anybody's died or if anybody's been seriously hurt, hospitalized from it. I have no idea. Except most of the videos I watch, like, you know what I mean, like they don't even swallow it. They just break it in their mouth. They start coughing it up, and then they just take a drink of water and start like, you know, rinsing out their
bubbles or something.
No,
so they drink water to make bubbles? What are they blowing bubbles?
No, like they drink water to rinse out their mouths. Like they'll like, you know, drink it, spit it out. So like, yeah,
you guys, please, if you're gonna challenge it, do something that's gonna help. At least do something creative. What is creative about that?
Right, do something beneficial to somebody. Like, you know what I mean?
Like do something like challenge the creativeness of your brain. There's nothing creative about that. There's nothing. And what are you gonna say down the road? Like, we know, everybody knows, like you put it on the internet, it's there. So when you get out of that phase of being weirdo and you want to have a family and your kid sees that.
Right, like what are you going to say? Like that?
Or your kid is trying to get in an elite school or something and they'd be like,
right. And
they like, pull this up and be like, this is where you came from.
Like, oh yeah, your dad was eating Tide Pods back in 2017.
Like what? And there's nothing you're going to like get out of that. You know what I mean? You're going to get laughed at, Facebook likes, you know what I mean? And this is another example of the stronger getting the weaker to do something for laughs.
Right, exactly.
For them to feel like, look what I can make you do. Don't be one of those people. Think for yourselves. Think for yourselves.
Agreed. I mean, listen. At this point, let me tell you something. If I have to sit here on this podcast and I have to look you in the eyes, okay, and I have to say to you, don't eat Tide Pods.
Something's
wrong with you. Like I shouldn't have to say it. I shouldn't have to tell you. We shouldn't even be having this conversation. We literally shouldn't be talking about this.
Because
because people are doing it.
It's not like Head Start kids. You know what I mean? They're not like 4 or 5 years old.
No, they're like 16, 12.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like kids are just now.
I know kids that are that age, 5, 6, that are saying, you said to them, here, eat this. What are they going to say to you? No, I ain't eating that.
Right.
But 15, what'd you say? Like what age?
Like 12, 15, 16. Some probably in their 20s probably doing it.
Oh, there's some guys.
Oh, my God. But no one else. It's even funnier. Like, like there are literally kids out there that are afraid to eat celery. They won't eat celery, right? Or something like that that's like good for you, like because it's yucky to them, right? And those little kids, that same ones that are picky and won't eat celery, are the same ones that say, no, I'm not going to eat a Tide Pod. But there are older kids out there like, you know what I'm going to do? Put this Tide Pod in my mouth and break it open. And then, just
challenge accepted.
I don't understand it. I just don't.
I'm going to start challenging people. Challenging people to do
Hey, guys, today we're going to do... I'll tell you what.
When we get our numbers up, we're going to challenge people.
Disclaimer, if you do the challenge I'm about to suggest, then you are crazy and stupid, and I am not responsible for anything you're about to do. Real quick, we're going to do the light socket challenge now. Everybody's going to put their finger in a light socket. Yeah,
you guys, I mean, enough with it. Do something like, I think they were originally started to raise awareness on things and to possibly raise money and to show support for certain things. Let's get back to that.
Right.
Just do something that makes sense.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Agreed. So I tell you what, guys, go ahead in the comment section below and suggest some kind of challenge you would like us to go ahead and appropriate and see if we can't get everybody to do it, and we'll do it too with y'all. So, like I said, go ahead and send us suggestions for a challenge and for a benefit.
Speak for yourself, because I might not. I'm going to tell you straight, flat out. If I believe in it and if it's a good cause, I probably will do it, but we're going to have to see.
Well, it's not like they're going to suggest we eat Tide Pods or something.
We never know what's going to happen. Nah, but yeah, definitely if you got something in mind and we want to see something, you want to bring awareness to something or something like that, go ahead, do it. We'll see where it goes. If I don't, I'll give you this promise. If I don't do it personally, I will get somebody to step in for me to do it.
That'll probably end up being me.
No, you got to do it. You said you were going to do it. But I'm going to get somebody to step in for me.
Okay.
I'll get somebody to step in for me. But
so, Coach, speaking of people that are very stupid and dumb, we want to talk about some Donald Trump today?
Yeah, he's been going. It's making it very hard. Like, for what? Let's say this. For one, I don't agree with this dude. I don't like him. I don't think he's good for our country. But one thing that everybody can agree on, who wants to see, he was voted in, he got in, who wants to see somebody fail? I don't want to see him fail, because that means we're set back. We're fail. We're going to go through it. Us, the people. Nobody else but us. So I don't want to see nobody fail, but he is making it hard for anybody. I don't even see how people can support him.
Right, now, agreed.
That can still keep saying, oh, no, that's not wrong. That's not wrong. Every day goes by, every time he opens his mouth, something dumber comes out.
Right. Like I said, like, as for, like, the things he was going to do or he said he was going to do, like, I thought it was funny. He signed an executive order the other day, Coach, for veterans. And I appreciate
that. What was that?
But it was just like, to help get them care and everything else for, homeless veterans, stuff like that.
Right.
like I said, I don't know all the exact details of it. You know, someone will surely will know. And like I said, I thought it was, you know, good on his part. But like, you know, for every one of those good things he does 50 other stupid, you know, asinine things where you're just like, why are you like, come on, man, like really this, like, or he says something, or he tweets something, or whatever, you know, and truthfully, I think the whole Trump campaign and propaganda has spread this divide, and what it is like it's feeding, because you know, I feel like a lot of people, we were talking about like with the social media and everything else, like being a presence, you have to do like absurd stupid things. Sometimes I feel like that's who Donald Trump is. He's that kid who's doing absurd stupid things, saying absurd stupid things, so that way then he keeps his popularity up. People were talking about him, you know?
It keeps his popularity. What it does though, also, like we talked about this, like honestly, like the process, we all know, I'm not no big crazy conspiracy person, but I know for a fact that a president doesn't have the power. There's things behind that.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So what I'm seeing out of this is that he's there to be like, let's see how many American people really feel the way like this, to keep us at a divide.
Right, exactly. Because
you got people that actually are like, that's not bad. Do you want your leader of our country? He is not respected by anybody.
Right, I know exactly.
Outside of this country.
Right. Besides,
you know what I mean?
Maybe even you could say like Putin, Vladimir Putin.
Oh, he's laughing.
But like, you know what I mean? Like,
China's laughing at us. Korea's laughing at us. Everybody's laughing at us. They're like, yeah, what happened to the almighty America?
Right. You know what
we
I mean?
don't do stuff like this. And people that sit in this country and say it's okay, I mean, I question, where is your sanity?
Now, when you talk about like you're okay, like go ahead and give us like a specific, like something that like people would go around saying, oh, that's okay, we can do that now. Like, give us a specific, like.
Well, we'll just say the latest thing, the shithole comment.
About what? He
said that, well, they're saying, he's denying it. Republicans came out, Democrats, they had some kind of meeting yesterday about the, what's it called, with the immigration. They want immigration reform thing. And they said, he said in there that, why do we keep immigrating people from these shitholes? Then it said that he wasn't saying that about Haiti. He was saying it about Africa, the town in Africa.
But that's either way you say it, it's bad.
Right.
Either way.
But that was their explanation of everything. Saying, oh, he wasn't talking about Haiti. He was saying Africa. It doesn't matter if he didn't say. Well, he said it about one. If he would have said it about just Haiti, it would have made, you know what I mean?
Even if he said it about any country anywhere, like we keep importing people from these shitholes. If he said India, he said Canada. It didn't matter where he said the United Kingdom, wherever. It's still like offensive to somebody to say, why are we bringing in people from these places? You know what I mean?
That we help disenfranchise.
Right.
And exactly. It's part of an agreement. Like, people don't understand this. Every time there's a war, when we go ravage a country,
right, exactly,
there's a spike in that country's immigration to here because it's part of an agreement we made with that country that we will take so many people or their political like prisoners, like they did with Cuba and all these years. It's all political stuff. It's not people saying like, or there is some people that are saying, they respect America so much. They see that they have opportunity, and that's the majority of immigrants that come to this country. They are proud to be here. They are hardworking people. You cannot put a generalization on people. In every situation, race, color, creed, religion, no matter, you have good people and bad people. There's not one set of people or race of people or religion or code or anything, that culture or anything that you can say all those people are bad. That's just crazy.
Right, exactly.
It's just ludicrous. And people are saying, like, they're defending, like, everybody is like tripling down defending.
Right, and you're saying
that's
that
not
people
wrong.
There are people out there that defend that comment that say, why are we importing people from these shitholes?
And they're saying, oh, well, it's the truth. It's the truth. He's just saying what's on his mind. We should be more like that. Do they understand that is alienating us from countries.
Right, exactly. Especially whenever you start saying that to other countries that are like you would be your trade partner or anything like that. I mean, like I said, you don't want to have a bad rep, period, with any other country. Like it just bodes well for you, you know?
Yeah, to be able to open communication. But then what he said was, okay, now what you're saying is, like,
I wasn't talking about Haiti. I was talking about Africa.
But one thing that popped up out of that, his what is this thing called? His golf place where he always goes and has meetings.
I have no idea, but yeah,
it's whatever his golf course is, Largo, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Wherever that's at, it's mostly Haitians that work there for minimum wage. Okay, so now you just alienated people that keep your
work for you.
Spot running.
Right, exactly.
Now, and on top of all that stuff right there, you know what I mean? And it's just going back to, like, when do you say, like, oh my gosh, that's just too much?
Right. Well, you know, what's funny is I think there's been tons of people out there that have said, oh my gosh, this is too much. And the problem is, like, those voices get drowned out because with this new wave of people that are saying, oh yeah, speak your mind, say it how it is, you know, those kind of people. You know what I mean? Like, those people are out there, you know? Like, what happened?
The trolls. They're right. Like, constant. Like, if you put something up, like on one of the sites, it could be even,
right.
We'll say, I don't believe
you know, if you post something on Facebook right now, anti-Trump, if I did,
yeah,
I would have at least one person comment back and tell me why I was wrong, what's right about what he did or what he said, or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, I try and have, like I said, like, I like having, like, debates on social media where, like, I talk to people about something, like, okay, well, like, well, let's look at this, right? You know what I mean? And, like, the point of my debate is, like, not to be right or wrong, but to either be more informed or to make, you know what I mean, to convey a point and understand it. And what happens is, like, I get people that are just out there, like, the minute you get on there, they say you're wrong, you know, like, because, like, I'm a firm believer that, you know, like, in some instances, right and wrong is a blurred line. You know, like, you know what I mean, especially with, like, political, you know, personal issues. I mean, like, I'm not cutting that with science or, like, math, because science and math, yeah, there's a right, there's a wrong. Like, you know what I mean? There's something that's right, there's wrong. But I'm saying, like, the right and wrong could be a blurred line, is what I'm saying, like, especially with, like, personality conflict of, like, interests and, like, you know, like I said, with politics, because, like, you know, like, you can only pick the worst of two evils, you know, in some instances. But what I'm saying now with this, like, with this instance, like, I cannot say that what is here is right. What's being said is correct. There's no blurred line here. I mean, like, you're either, and that's why I said it's a divide, and that's what this guy does so well, dividing all of us, because he says, you know, he says something, and people are offended by that, or, you know, they're saying, hey man, like, that's not, like, you shouldn't say that. Because what you're saying is, like you said, alienating people, and you're gonna get us a bad rep because you're supposed to be our master in chief, the guy who's, like, you know, leads our nation, and, like, you're making us as Americans look bad. And then there's the other person who comes out and he says, you know what I mean, like, he says, no, it's all about speaking your mind with this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like you know, it'd be like inner city, like you're talking about, like, you know, New York, like you know, not inner city, but, like, you know, like the like, you know, the bad parts of town, so to speak, you know what I mean? And, like, you were to go there and call it a shithole, in which they know it is a bad place, but, like, almost to call these people that they are the product of a shithole, you know what I mean, or something like that.
And that's the part that everybody's saying. Even if it is, like, we know that third world countries are a mess,
right?
But you're saying, okay, why? The thing he said was, why are we bringing people from these shitholes?
Right.
You're saying these people are shitty people.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what I meant. Because you could go to the projects and you could say something like, hey, like, you know what I mean?
Why are we bringing, so we'll say a big school, why are we bringing people from the projects?
Right, exactly, right. You know what I mean? Or something
We're bringing the projects to the school. That's what he's saying, basically.
Right, exactly. You know, and he's, like, saying, why do we keep bringing these people from these shitholes? Like, but, like, you go to the projects, I wouldn't go in there and, like, you know, like, deem this place a shithole and everybody in it a shitty person. Right. I wouldn't do it. What I would, however, do is I would deem it like I'm how would I put it? Like, what are the issues that are going here? The socio-economic, political issues that go on in this area that keep it this way? Because it's been like this for years and it's never changed.
Yeah,
that's why. That's the question. Third parties.
It's a design.
Third world countries should ask.
It's a design, and we're part of that design.
Right.
We're part of these shitholes.
Right. Quote unquote. Right.
we're part of their disenfranchised. America is part of Haiti's, part of Africa's.
Disenfranchised.
We have a big part in that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We sit and say that the reason why we go to Syria is because what they're doing to their people. Right. Why haven't we ever went to Africa?
Right. Exactly.
When that guy was taking all those little kids and making them slaves and slaughter, why didn't we intervene with that? And it would have been easy.
Right.
It would have been easy. It would have been way easier than going over to the Middle East and fighting in mountains.
Right. Exactly.
And looking for Al Qaeda and all that.
Right. Exactly.
See, these are the things that, like, if it doesn't have no interest in it, or we can keep it lower, and the main thing, but this is where it got out of the water, because he said, why do we get from these shitholes? There's another part to the thing. He said, why don't we get people from, like, Norway? Mm-hmm. Norway is a beautiful country.
Right.
They are free. They live, they flourish. They have great way of handling themselves. Their prison systems are, like, minimal.
Right, exactly.
The way they handle crime, there's less crime. Why would they want to come to America?
Right,
and
exactly.
they said this.
Right, yeah. Why would they want to come
Their
to America?
Their reply was like, no, thanks. We're good.
Like, our country's great. You know what I mean?
We don't go to war. We don't, you know what I mean? We don't have, our interests are in our people, building our people.
Right, agreed. And like I said, like, there's people in the world, like, wouldn't you want to live in the country with that military, power, like that thing? But, like, like, if, like, but I could see it from Norway's perspective, where you're like, we're Norway, like, you know what I mean? Like, our country's good, we set it all up, like, I mean, we don't have to fight anybody, we don't need to, like, we're not bothering nobody.
We don't, yeah, and they look at America like they don't need those problems.
Right, exactly.
Like, it'd be a nice place to visit.
Right. You look at it kind of like that, you look at America like that hot girl from across the way, but, like, she's got, like, all kinds of issues and stuff that you aren't ready to deal with,
right.
Like,
yeah, you're hot. I would love to go out, have a little fun with you, but do I want to marry you?
No, but no, what it is, like, I'd like to have fun with you, but it'd be like the same time you'd be like, but is it worth it that one night? Because after that, after that one night, I'm gonna have to deal with all the other stuff that you put on, and all the other stuff that you do. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a country like Norway, like, I can't even mess with you because, like, I don't want to get caught up in all the belligerent racist things that sometimes seem to be happening now with, like, the divide in your country and, like, all those issues. Like, I don't even want any part of that. I don't even want to be associated with it.
And this past, to add another thing to, like, there's many levels to what this past week that's went on. Like, the UK. Mm-hmm. He canceled the trip to the UK. They planned to protest him. They don't want him over there. They don't want him to come visit. So he canceled the trip, got wind of them saying that when he gets there, it's not going to be, hey, Mr. President. It's going to be boo, protest. They don't want him there.
Right, exactly.
So he's like, instead of, like, taking on that, like, okay, well, let me go over there, and he just totally backed out of it.
Right, I agree.
So how is, like, to me it's him his ego is, like, out of control, where, like, if he ain't getting, like, the praise that he thinks he deserves, he's gonna say something crazy.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how it is, And like I said, we talk about it, like, with him and being more like these, like I said, like these internet people, like, he's not really, he's just there to help self-sustain, and I think that's what I said whenever he wanted to run for president, Like, he's doing this almost like as a publicity stunt, because now he's, like, on the biggest stage that you could be on in this country, which is the President of the United States. Yeah. And you're going to get out of here, and then, you know what? Like, you
make President of the United States, you're in a whole different club.
Right,
like,
exactly.
before, he was successful,
entrepreneurial, yeah, right.
Even if everybody fails. I'm not going to say anything about the bankrupts. Every person that done something failed.
Right, but he still
owns successful. He owns things. Sure, he got it from his dad. That's just, it's just what it is. I don't care about none of that.
Right, exactly.
What I'm saying is, but once you become president, you're in a whole different
boat. Yeah, I know what you mean.
He's in a 10 times better, even being a successful who he is. He's in a 10 times. He's in around elite people now. Right. People that wouldn't even, they'd be like Donald Trump. Yeah, okay. Now Donald Trump's allowed to be in that club.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's the sustainability of it.
Right, because, like, because, like, for him, this could just be, he's just, like, it's all a game to him. He comes in, he says some stuff, keeps himself relevant, You know what I mean? Because he doesn't want us to forget about him, no matter what we're doing.
He wants to be like, wow, if I'm going to tank, I'm going to tank. Because he's got to see the writing on the wall.
Right, exactly.
It's over.
Right.
You're not going to get those votes. People are going to make sure that they get those votes.
And you could say it in comparative to our conversation about the Tide Pods. You know? Like, you go, you eat it, you get all the likes, you get all that attention, you know, and everything else. But then what's the next thing you got to do to stay relevant? Yeah. What do you got? You got to do the cinnamon challenge.
Do something. So every day he wakes up like,
what do I got to do today? What do I got to do today? Who do I have
What
to
do I got
about?
to do today? So I get all kinds of
and right, and like us
trend.
talking. The thing is, us talking about him right now
is getting him
is helping him. And we need to, like, we almost need to, like, cut that off. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
just be like, whatever. Right. That's what I do. I mean, but it's just mind-boggling. Some days you just be like, I don't even pay attention. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Right, you know what I mean? Because, like, every day he does something, you're like, oh, what do you do now? Okay. And you know what? You got tired of probably, you know, saying something about it. You got tired of saying anything about it. Because what happens every time you say something about it, you know what I mean? There's always that person.
There's
and
the
you
frenzy.
know what?
It's a frenzy.
Yeah, right,
piranha.
Right, exactly.
They're like piranha.
Then they attack it. And you know what? Part of me just wants to sit there and go, you know, what's the point? What's the point of saying it?
Yeah.
What's the point of going out there and keep saying it?
There really isn't like you're right, and that's what I'm going to start. Like I said when we got in the car today, I said it makes no sense to have a conversation with a Trump supporter.
Right. It doesn't because they're never, no matter what you say, is going to change. But here's the thing: you stop saying it, like people like us stop talking about it, right?
Yeah.
What are they going to say about it?
They're going to have to really look at, oh my God.
The only time they're going to post something or talk about something is when he does something good. And you know what? And as long as people like us don't even say anything, it'll almost fail. And what we do is at voting time, come next 2 years, whatever, and it's election season. You just go right there and like you don't say nothing. You just vote them out.
Do it by action. And I think that's what it is too. Like it is like it's time. Like okay, we've seen what happens when we don't like involve yourself in the democratic way of doing things. Is voting for who you want in there.
Right. And this year was just such
supporting.
a bad...
And supporting.
Right.
Because I think people took it for granted saying, oh my gosh, Hillary's going to win, that a lot of people didn't even bother to go to the polls.
Right, exactly.
Because the majority of the people, like I was saying to this guy today, listen, I was like, you got to listen to this. I said, you got to pay attention to this. I said, the majority of people don't believe in that. He won with whatever. I don't even understand what electoral. I'm going to have to actually look. I don't even understand what that is.
Electoral college?
Yeah. I understand that you get
you vote. What you do as a voter is you vote for delegates who then take your votes, then vote at the electoral college for you.
So you get it makes up for the majority.
But those delegates that you vote for, they can actually they don't even have to go off of what you say, or what you voted for. Like they can honestly, if they wanted to, they could just say, you know what, they don't know any better. We'll vote for Hillary Clinton.
Right.
You know, like they could like I mean, legally they could do that. I don't know if they do or not, like per se, like if they actually just go in there, because like you have to look and see who all votes for who or whatever. But it's just a fraudulent system.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. There shouldn't be none of that. Right. It should just be whoever gets the most votes wins, right? Isn't that the majority of every like winning contest or voting or whatever that is?
Right.
It doesn't make no sense. But in the thing, we clearly see that the majority of Americans don't feel that way.
Right.
They don't feel like you deserve to be president. You just, whatever happened, you got that, however that vote works, you got that. That's what you guys targeted and you won it. Right. So congratulations, you got it. So now the people are seeing, like you said, more or less we don't talk about it. Like, you know, we talk about saying, what are we going to do so this doesn't happen again?
Right, exactly.
People are saying, like when they're saying about Oprah, I wouldn't vote for Oprah.
Yeah, I agree.
Why would I put another person in there that doesn't know what the heck they're doing?
A celebrity, you know what I mean? Like that's what it is. It's just like someone you know. And like I said, people were saying, well, Donald Trump was, and that was like this pre-misconception. Donald Trump's gonna run this like a business, you know? Like he's gonna run this like a business.
And businesses are run cutthroat.
Right, exactly. And
they cut if it ain't working, cut everything.
Right,
that's how a business works. You know, our bottom line matters. That's not how you run a country.
Right, exactly, because you bring in the idea of people into it, where like because that's what it is. You're not running a business, because people were talking about this debt. I said we've been having this debt forever, and it's because we have a predatory banking system that's fraudulent that lends out more money than there's money in the world to be spent, and that's why we're going to increasingly, no matter what we do, we're always going to be in debt, no matter what. no matter what you do, because it's built into the system. So when people
And that's
complain
every
about
American.
that, right,
American too.
Right, exactly. So when you complain about that system and you're like, well, Donald Trump's gonna, well, he just reduced this.
He's
blah, blah.
not,
He's not doing
he's
nothing.
not going to fix something that's been going on since the beginning of time.
Basically, like, since this country, I mean, we had wars over our debts to other countries. I mean, it's just
the way the system's built. It's the way they want it. It's the way it's going to stay. And the another thing, like, this is one thing that I find very important, like the tax cut thing, right? Okay, majority of people don't, majority of the people see that it was giving tax break, and they believe that, okay, that's going to create more jobs.
Right.
Okay, so first one that does it, like those people that came out, AT&T. Thanks for the tax break, blah blah blah. We're giving bonuses, blah 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 blah. Thanks for the tax credit break.
Right.
Okay, a week later, March 8th, AT&T were laying off.
Right, X amount of people.
X amount of people.
And you know what? They get those bonuses too, right? Not the everyday worker that's like me, that's working at the cubicle, taking
Right.
the phone calls in the tech department. No, they're giving that to the CEOs or the managers or the supervisors. Like, hey,
Right.
oh, you guys are gonna get a bonus. Now just make sure everything keeps in check here.
And then, oh, by the way, you got to fire those people.
Right, because like I said, because we're paying you more now, like we're
You
gonna
got to
have
be the face that goes and tells them.
Yeah, right, exactly.
know.
But hey, but make sure the people that are below you, they're working hard. Make sure they're working hard.
But he took credit for that.
Right.
He says, oh, see what happened, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's like, see, but they don't say, oh, they're going to fire people March 8th.
Right.
So
exactly.
none of that matters.
Right, exactly.
Walmart, blah, blah, blah. Spiked up minimum wage from 9 to 11.
Uh-huh.
Gave everybody bonuses.
Yep, and then what they do? Fire like
They're going to close 60 Sam's Clubs, which are Walmart companies.
Right.
Now, where are these people going to go? They're going to get in where they fit in at Walmart,
right.
or they're not going to have no job.
Right, exactly.
So that doesn't mean anything. You just saved them. None of that's what you just did, Walmart, means anything. And Walmart is a big predator of the system. We blame people that like fraud the system and are on welfare.
Right.
Walmart sustains off of that because they
Right.
don't give people enough hours to get insurance. They don't give the insurance, so they still qualify for welfare,
Right,
for
exactly.
Medicare and Medicaid.
Right.
So these things like that. So they say that he takes credit for that.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Now there's another thing that just happened.
Okay.
With the job, another job from Mexico. It's going to bring in 2,500 jobs back to Detroit. It's a car company. I forget which one. The one that does Ram. I think it's Dodge.
Dodge, yeah.
2,500 jobs. And they're supposed to put $1 billion back into this company.
Right, okay.
In Detroit, which is great. I love it.
Right.
But where's that? What are we going to see next week when they say, oh, by the way, da-da-da-da-da is getting cut? But they brought 2,500
Right.
jobs, but we got rid of 4,500 that were already here.
Right, yeah, I understand what you're saying, right.
Is that coming? Everything that he's like, oh, see, there's always a, oh, wait. But this, it doesn't.
Yeah, right, because you're saying there's a common theme where he creates something and it sounds good intended and like, oh, yeah, what I mean, we're going to do this. And then what happens after that is everybody loses jobs. People lose jobs because of that.
And I think that's part of the deal. Like, hey, I'm gonna give you these tax breaks. When you announce with this, we know what's happening.
Right,
we
exactly.
know, but announce it, say thanks, Mr. Trump,
Right.
and I'm gonna take credit for it, and then wait a week, and then do it real slow. Do it in little print. Don't do it in big print. Do it in little print that say, oh, by the way, we're closing 60 Sam's Clubs.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's what it all is. It's a big scheme. Like, I know he sees the writing on the wall. He's like, oh man, this ain't gonna last.
Right.
I'm not gonna make another term.
Right. But he's going to go ahead and he's going to keep himself relevant throughout the whole entire term. So when he gets out, with all the connections he makes to the upper echelon, all the things he did at the presidency, all the executive orders he signed, anything, and he helped try to pass into Congress so he could help the businesses, the other corporations, they're going to have his back. Like, that's what I'm saying, like, about this whole situation is just like, like for him, this was just like the most beneficial thing for him as a businessman. You know what I mean? Because you're right, he's going to run this like a business, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's running it like a social networking business.
And do we want to be the one to be, you're gambling on, okay, you were successful at some things, but you were non-successful at a lot.
Right, exactly.
if you're running it like a business and you go on that track record, odds are it's going to be unsuccessful.
Right, exactly.
Because anybody successful, anybody that tells you honestly successful, tells you. Sure, you got people that came up with ideas that just hit right off the bat.
Right.
That's
right.
a very small percentage. But any entrepreneur that busted their butt, they failed way more than they hit.
Right, exactly.
It's just when they hit
big.
They hit big. If you're putting that on running our country, you're going to hit big.
But you're going to fail so many
times. We're taking the brunt of that.
Right, exactly. And what's the thing is, we can't afford that. Us as American people, we can't afford for you to mess up so many times just to hit big once. You know, and that seems like that's like kind of been the theme of the party. That is, you know, his election, his tenure.
Yeah, and I think that this is a perfect example of what we really do on this, what this podcast is really about. Because it's about, like, what we want to do is connect with people just because we don't agree or we're not a certain age or not a certain race or
right, exactly.
Politician does not mean that we can't sit down and have an intelligent call and say, okay, I understand that. I understand.
Right, because, like I said, I can't sit here and say that this Trump presidency is a complete and utter failure because there have been spots of good. But the problem is that, and like I said, I can't again blame it on that. But like I said, there's just all these things that Trump said he was going to do, and all these people were behind it. But now, like ever since then, everybody's quiet, but people are so quick to defend him, even though there's things he doesn't do or hasn't done, like drain the swamp. Remember, he's going to drain the swamp.
And that he just brought up to bring back earmarks,
right?
Which was the main corrupt thing of the government,
right?
So
exactly,
you gotta if we want things to go better, we have to definitely be able to have and we're not getting good examples. Even Congress, they can't work together. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't get in a room together and say, okay, you might not agree. I understand it. I'm not going to agree with everybody. It might take time, but there's got to be. But they're doing things like kids in high school or grade school do. If you're not going to hang out with me, then I'm not going to be friends with you. Oh, you're hanging out with them because they don't like me?
Right.
We're not friends no more. That's what the Congress and you know, we got to put this on Congress too. Right. Democratic, Republican.
Right, exactly. Everybody. Because what it is it's lobbied, it's self-interest. Yeah. They do whatever just to keep their job there. Like I said, it's crazy. And also I've been watching a lot of videos and stuff. Like, it's crazy all the things they have to do to stay in office though. Like, they definitely need, because like for them just to stay in office, they have to like go through all these events and fundraisers and all this other stuff.
And it's problem solving. If you see some of these shows, we'll say, like, even though it's over dramatized and they add, you know what I mean? But like something like House of Cards, like a problem comes up at the night before, they get to the office, we got to put this fire out. And they go through the day putting out fires and doing things. That's what it partakes. The problems might not be as dramatizing and big, but it's always something that could.
But
if
we're
it
talking
comes
about
up,
like for some of these positions, like I've read up on it. You know, all the funds that they need to like sustain another campaign, where like they can actually have like a successful one. They're like working so hard to get all that money back. And what's easier for them, to go to some company or have some organization come and say,
cut a big check,
and say, hey, but all you need to do is vote on this and say that you want this. Or, you know, you're okay with this.
That's how it is. Lobbyists.
Right, exactly. And that's what I was sitting here saying is, like, that's why it's so hard. And you know what I mean? Like I said, like, Donald Trump said that, but it was all false promises because you couldn't bet on one guy to do that for you. You know what I mean?
No, you can't stop
and that's the problem with, like, the American people, I believe, too, is, you know, like, a lot of people go in there, they voted in Trump, and they thought he was going to do all these things. And they think, and there's a lot of people that think because of their thought of their admiration towards Trump, that they think that it's all gonna happen still. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, Trump's
just wait.
But you know what I mean? Like, well,
but it's not even. It's not even that for me, because every politician lies.
Right.
Every politician is out for self. Obama, Reagan,
all
of them all had special agendas.
Right. Exactly.
But it's the way you're saying to us, like, the way you're getting people to react out in the streets. Like, at least when I'd rather be talked to if I'm getting screwed. Right. I'd rather be finessed, than raped.
Right. I get what
you see what I'm saying?
Right. I get what you're saying.
Obama's at least saying, "Oh, we're gonna," you know, everything was cool. People were starting to get along and mellow, and you were seeing it. You were seeing it for your own eyes. You were seeing the courtesy out of people. Now it's like Nobody's holding doors for nobody no more.
Yeah, exactly. I got.
If you don't got a Trump sticker on your thing, I'm not holding this door for you.
Right, exactly.
Or you don't have no one. You're entitled. That's
right,
what it's
exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It's flowing out into the streets, and there's no electoral votes, because if you really want to know, like, that's what I was trying to get at before. The majority of the country don't think like that, and it's a big number to your little number that thinks like that. So when it starts to get rude and ignorant, and people start being like, and you think that you can say something that he's saying, you don't have Secret Service.
Right,
you're
exactly.
not tucked away in a nice, comfy little place.
You're not.
You're out in the world with people that will smack you in the mouth.
Right, exactly.
And trust me, I'm not a violent person. I don't believe in violence. Only to defend yourself.
Right.
And to defend your family.
Right.
And stuff.
I mean, like I said, we sit here, we try and discuss these issues and talk about them. But we're saying, like, we can't. You can't say the things that guy says in public and expect not for someone to do something about it, though. Like, in the sense of, like, a violent manner, because not everybody is us. You know what I mean? There are people out there that'll just hear that and say, "What did you say?" And it's over. It's a
and
wrap.
Then it turns into something crazy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to go that way. And that's the difference. It doesn't like I totally believe that every politician is full of it. They're gonna do their self-interest. They're gonna, there's times when some things work for the people, and there's sometimes that it don't for everybody. You know what I mean? And he wouldn't be no different if he approached it different.
Right, exactly.
Because I didn't hate George Bush.
Right, exactly.
He made me laugh.
Yeah.
Every time he got up there and was speaking, it was just funny to me. The way he talked and stuff.
Like the ones that have
the way he would
crimes.
explain things and couldn't like explain it like fluently. He just cracked me up. Mm-hmm. I would actually sit down and have a conversation with. Would I sit down and have a conversation with Donald Trump? No. I wouldn't be able to. I'd be like, you're an idiot, and get up and walk away.
Right. I can understand that.
So it has nothing to do with parties or anything. It just has to do with the way he's making us act.
Right, exactly. And that's what I said. Like, it creates such a divide amongst the people because, and I think here's how we stop this. And I think we hit on it. We all got to just stop talking about this guy every day.
Right.
We got to stop talking about him every day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you know what? Nothing he does anymore surprises anybody. You know, like I said, because
just let all that karma come back on.
Like I said, let him say all the stuff he's gonna say. Let him just fade out. You know, like don't. And what you gotta do is you gotta stop feeding the fires these people that will defend him to the grave. You know, because I will. Like I said, I don't want to see. Like we said, we don't want to see our president fail because then that means we fail, right? But whenever he is failing, he's gotta be held accountable for that.
Right.
And we have to.
You're right. But once you do try, like you said, we make them relevant again. But everybody sees that. Let the stations that like they call the fake news, and one supports one supports the left or whatever. Let them do that because we see it. Right,
exactly. And like I said, what we all need to do as people that don't support the whole thing is we need to look at the whole situation. And we see let's pay attention. Let's definitely pay attention. Let's just keep that record on our brains. Like, what's going on? What exactly did he say? What is he talking about now? But let's not go post it anywhere. Let's not go talk to someone that, about it. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to keep this guy in check. We want to go and we want to tell him, hey, this isn't how you want to do it. But the time for talking's over. We have to wait now. We have to wait for this breeze to blow over because we're not getting an impeachment for this guy. You know what I mean? Like I said,
that's not unless something major comes out. That's the only way. I wouldn't hang my hat on that. What I'd hang my hat on is the action part of it,
right.
Which is coming up next November. Is get people in there that are the worst of the evils because they're all going to do what they need to do. But if they're doing something that would stop what's going on outside.
Right. Exactly. People that would go out there and keep us from dividing ourselves and breaking us up, those kind of people, get them in there, like I said. And it all starts from the base up. It starts with us. So we gotta go ahead. We gotta get the people in there to get Trump out of there, but not just Trump, but we also gotta get the swamp, the people that are in there out of there. We gotta do it all. It's our action now. We gotta stop talking about people. We gotta stop posting about things. We need to actually go out there, do the action, make the vote, make it count.
And if it happened in Alabama, one of the worst places that feeds into his rhetoric. And it was very close, and I'm ashamed to say that for American people that still would have voted for that guy to get in, that Roy Moore guy. Mm-hmm. Terrible person. terrible person, been terrible for years. You know what I mean? And he got that close to being in there. But that's a state that would have put him in there by a landslide if he didn't have, like, if that last thing didn't come out about the lady saying, that underage girl saying that, he would have got in there. But the outrage and the people did their due diligence, did their action, and went out and voted. They did the action. And that's a hard thing to do in Alabama, to win that.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So the proof's in the pudding right there.
Right.
You can win that right there. And that's where he campaigned. That's his that's Trump's campaign go-to right there, was Alabama and those states.
Right.
So if it can be done there, it could be done anywhere. It can be done. You just got to do it. We got to say, you know what? He's there. Let's forget him. We don't have to point out what he's doing. He's making an ass every time he opens his mouth, like you said. Mm-hmm. Let's not give him that. Let's give the people that we want in there the spotlight.
Right. Exactly. The people.
Let's give them. Let's support that. Let's do that, and let's get the people in there that can change what's going on outside. Because I'm a very observant person. I watch how people act. I lived in a neighborhood between the time. Since I've been up here, I lived in the same neighborhood, and I've seen, like, there's like, our block split, half supporters of Trump, half not. Mm-hmm. I seen how they changed as people. Like, I sit at my window. I have a big bay window that I look out, and I used to see Jim and John before this stuff started happening, hanging out, drinking a coffee or smoking a cigarette. You don't see Jim and John. Jim and John walk right past each other now.
Blow right by. Now it's like Jim and Jake, because Jake, he can talk to you about that, and he'll say something.
Yeah, he's going to whoever's saying,
because often, more than not, what the people do nowadays is they're so scared. They'd rather go to people that accept their views than people that might challenge them.
And that's how small of a scale it is. Really? If it's on that small of a scale, it's on the huge scale.
But it gets so big because after it happens to so many people. I agree. So like I said, that's what we got to do, guys. It's up to us. It's up to us. It's all up to us. If you want to change it, we want to get out of this situation, this hole that we're in, especially with the whole, the Trump situation, the politics, everything. It's all on us. Like I said, the time for talk is over. No more talking about Donald Trump. We just got to go ahead, be quiet, keep informed, and make the thing happen. Okay?
Do your own research. And plus, guys, listen. Always know that, like, we don't have to depend on, and this is one thing that is very, 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 like, American to me. You don't have to depend on your government for nothing, really. Only thing you have to depend on them is to give us order, because you can get together with people in your community and make change. It's all about time, putting in time, volunteering, special things like that. Even some cases you're putting up some kind of money or something, and you guys develop something that turns into something that can help something. And every American has that right to do it. You just got to go out and do it. It's just about putting in some extra work. And we all know that people working and they're trying to raise their families and stuff like that, but a community, it takes a village to get things done, and you can start with your community, and that's how it starts.
Right. All right, guys. Well, this is the Bridging the Gap podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, we'll go ahead and talk to you guys next week. Have a good one. See ya.
Salute.